let me just formally welcome you guys to our first webinar together,
Yes.
Mountaintop Moments. We have taught classes online before together, but this is our first official webinar together. So we're going to give you what we got. We're super excited about these concepts, and so we're just going to dive right in. I'm Camille Smith. For those of you that, you guys all know me. Anyway, I'm Camille Smith. I'm a teacher, a mentor, a life coach, and my passion is empowering women. And it gets me up in the middle of the night. Sometimes it wakes me up in the morning, and it's what I absolutely love to do. So when I get to teach you guys stuff that I've been learning, that is like my big moment. And that's as good as it gets almost for me, except my family also as good as it gets. So I'm going to let Sarah introduce herself.
I'll start with my family. Sometimes we forget to talk about them. But
I know.
We have awesome kids. Yeah, I'm a mom and I'm a grandma of 2 little grandbaby boys. They're so fun. And I'm an artist, and I love teaching women the things that I've learned through my trials and just through life. It's as soon as I learn something, the first thing I want to do is turn around and help somebody out with it, help them not suffer the same things that I've gone through, or help them get through it faster. And
Definitely.
Hopefully something that I've learned will light up their mind a little bit, give them a little bit of hope. And that is just the best feeling, when you can help pull somebody out of something hard as fast as you can, as fast as they can. So that's what we do. Yeah. We teach, we create, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Hopefully today will be a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Oh, we always want the fun part.
Camille brings the fun.
Oh, you bring the fun.
Yes.
Wait, we both bring the fun.
Yes.
You light up the room. Remember?
I light up. That's what I said. Camille brings the fun. I light up the room. That was our mantras last year.
All right. So we turned on the big light there. If it's too bright, someone should tell us in the comment box.
We can't see,
because we're learning how to make this look the best way. Anyway, so our goal here today, the name of our webinar. Did you introduce yourself as you wish to?
Yes.
Okay. Our goal today on our webinar called Mountaintop Moments is to help you guys shift perspective. So a lot of times we get stuck under the cloud cover. So, things can feel dark and heavy sometimes, and just not very much fun. But think about, like, the way I think about it is like when you're flying on an airplane and, you're going up in altitude, and you can see where you're in the clouds, and then you go up above the clouds and the sun is shining, and it's just like bright everywhere. You can see everything. That's the place where we want to live, right? Where we're up above, we've got great perspective, we're on top of the mountain, and we can see everything. And there are some things that you can definitely do to shift your perspective and get there. That's not to say that there won't be moments where you're going to dip down, because this is life, this is Earth life, and that's how it is. So it is going to happen. So trust the process is the first thing that I want to teach you. It's really, really important that you trust the process of life. Sometimes in our minds, we have our plan, our flight plan, or whatever you want to call it, things that we want to do in our lives, and we're going along, and we've got our goals and our vision board and all that good stuff, and that's great. But sometimes there's a bump in the road, and sometimes it's like a crevice. It's a hole, it's a crater in the road. And that happens, and all of a sudden we get flustered and we panic, and we're like, this isn't what I envisioned, and this isn't what I want, and now I can't do anything. Okay, sorry, I just got distracted by a jack. Stop that. Okay, that's yours. Yeah, that's yours. So anyway, it's really important that we keep ourselves in that place where we trust the process. And that's what really we're going to talk about today. Everything that's happening in our lives is not a mistake. It's part of the process. When you can shift your way of thinking to that, it makes all the difference, because you realize you're part of a higher plan. God's got you, and everything that's happening to you is what's supposed to happen. I love that thought. It brings me so much comfort. So I want to tell you guys a little personal story about my becoming who I am right now. I spent years learning. So I call myself a lifelong passionate learner, because I really love to learn. It's like, I just can't wait to learn the new thing. And sometimes you can probably see some of my books back there. I've actually cleared it off a lot. There were more in there, but I was just like, I felt like I was eating books. Like I just couldn't get enough. I was like, oh, here's a new book. Yum, 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 chom, 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 so yummy. And go to seminars and just like learning about how our thoughts and our feelings, our emotions. And, I was learning a lot about energy for a while there. And, I'm a yoga instructor, just love learning things. And I would sort of go through this process of learning things. And my husband would always say, so is this it? Is this your thing?
Are you done yet?
Are you done yet? Are you going to like get going on your thing? And I'd be like, I'd always get so mad when he asked me that, because I'm like, he just doesn't understand who I am. That there is no end. There will be no end to this learning. It's what I do. It's what I live to do. And so when I look back at all those little stops that I made in the road, learning things, it helps me realize that I needed all of that information in my life to be who I am now, to go where I'm going now. And without all of those little pieces, and some of them weren't always pleasant, I wouldn't have the foundation that I have now. And I would say it's the very same thing for you. So everything that you're going through right now, even if it looks wrong or doesn't look positive, it's part of your process. It's making you who you are. So embrace that. I know it's not always easy to do that. So let's talk about some tools, because that's what we're here to give you. First of all, let's take the scenario of you going along your path and something unexpected happens, something crops up and it freaks you out. You get wrapped around the axle and you start to panic. What's the first thing you need to do?
Call Camille. Camille, I don't know what to do.
I always have to pause there because I want your brains to come up with an answer, even though I can't hear you. That's why I paused. So the first thing you have to do is stay cool. So some of you guys have heard me tell the story about my husband's little plaque that he has at work on his desk that my wonderful mom made for him, and it says, "Stay cool." And he says he looks at it all the time, because really what happens when you don't stay cool is you fly off into a tizzy. We have these parts of our brain. We have like the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. What happens when you go into that place is you go into fight or flight. So when you go to fight or flight, your brain sort of freezes. The prefrontal cortex in the front, the part that reasons, it closes off. It pinches off like a hose, just squeezes off. And then you can't think straight. You can't reason through what you need to do because that part of your brain is closing off. So when you stay calm and you stay cool and you breathe, I talk about this a lot as a yoga instructor, like
good
that.
advice.
Yes. It helps to bring you into a completely different state where you can access the thoughts in your head and you can make sense of what's happening instead of just freaking out. So you know what? Let me write that down on the board, because these are some of the things I want you guys to remember. On the floor. Okay. So the first thing, like I said, when something unexpected happens, is you stay calm and you breathe. When I say breathe, I'm talking like 3 deep breaths is all it takes to move you from fight or flight to a state of being where you can think and access your thoughts. All right, so number 2, right here. I don't know if markers as juicy as I want it to be.
I already have juicy markers, so
ask winning questions. So remember, when you get out of fight or flight and you come into a calmer place, you're able to think. Thank you. And then when you do that, you can access your wisdom, because when you're not there, you can't. So as far as winning questions, why do we want to do that? I think I'm going to sit down and talk for a minute on this.
yes.
All right, so let me come over here and talk for just a minute about this so I don't have to yell at you from across the room. All right, so ask winning questions helps you to make sense of what's happening in the situation that you're in. So here's a couple of the questions that you might be able to ask yourself. Here it is. What's happening now? So let's say you're going along your path and that unexpected thing pops up. Take your breaths and then you ask yourself, okay, what's going on? Because a couple of things happen when you ask that question, what's going on or what's happening. Number 1, it puts you into the moment. You become mindful. So instead of your mind spinning off into space, it's like you're automatically redirecting your brain to the present moment. And when you're in the present moment, that's where you have control and that's where you feel joy. When you're not in the present moment, more often or not than not, you're in kind of an agitated place, or you can ruminate or sort of spin into space with your stories. Okay, so that's one reason you want to ask the question, what's happening now? The second reason you want to ask yourself what's going on right now when that happens is you want your brain to begin to shift to solve the problem. So our brains are awesome for problem solving. They love a good problem. So instead of having your brain work against you, going to all those dark places or creating, spinning all your stories, put it to work for you and have it begin to go through the process of figuring out what's happening and gleaning, all the little bits that will help you make sense of what's happening. Okay, because once you can make sense of what's happening, that will be good. All right, so the third thing I want to teach you is to train your brain how to access what it needs from your experiences. So let's try the black one just for fun.
Yeah, I like the black one too.
Oh, that's
a good one.
that's a good one. Okay. So these kind of go together just a little bit. The asking the winning questions. Train your brain to glean. So we'll talk about glean. Glean. Okay, and so here's one of those winning questions. I didn't write it down. I'm going to write it down. What's happening now? I have another story about that, but I don't know if I'll have time to tell it soon. Sometimes these things, they pop into my head. Yeah, okay. We're going to keep us on schedule so you guys can move on with your day and get what you need out of this, okay? So anyway, the last thing, teach your brain how to access what it needs from your experience. Like I said, your brain loves to have a problem to solve. It wants to be able to be handy. And so if you don't give it a problem to solve, it will create its own problem to solve.
Amen to that.
Yes, and I can almost promise you that it probably will not be the best one.
It creates a worse problem.
Yes, exactly. So when you do that, the other thing that you're trying to do with the third one there, train your brain to glean, is when you're going through the situation you're in, let's say it's a difficult situation, if you tell your brain to ask those winning questions and then you kind of expect it to pull bits of what's happening out of the situation that are useful for you. So not everything that's happening to you in that moment is bad or negative. Our brain will think that, but when you reset your brain and you say, okay, your brain, your job is to glean the bits of information that we need to learn from this experience.
What can I learn from this?
Exactly. And then you take those little bits and you put them in your backpack and you keep going. Okay, so these 3 steps will do so much if you really implement them. It takes practice implementing them. When you do that, you're going to get so much more clarity and peace and confidence that you can handle the next wrinkle or misstep in your line of fire. So you can, like I said, fly up above the clouds and have that mountaintop vista. All right, so I'm going to, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to tell them.
Yes.
I'm going to pass it over to Sarah now.
She's passing me the baton.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start out with the whiteboard.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. I started doing this little trajectory of my life when I was teaching What Now, not very long ago. And I learned so much from my own teaching of this, this concept. It's really fun how when you teach something, you can actually learn even more than you started out planning on teaching. So I wanted to talk about the path of my life. And so I started drawing it like this, kind of like a little trajectory, almost like a little graph. So here I am. Yes. Oh, excellent. Thank you. I just don't want to get my head cut off. Just a little bit taller. Okay. So, we all start out, we're babies, we're kids, we're growing up. And then my senior year in high school had a little bit of a downward spiral. My eating disorder really creeped up and some hard things happened. I get married, have kids, life is good. My eating disorder comes back after I have my youngest daughter. 2004 is a really, really hard year a few years later, kind of like this. And then my sister passed away in 2011. And then, I start recovering from that. And I do lots of great things in here. I'm doing my political stuff. I'm learning how to mentor women for the first time. Camille and I start our What Now class. And I go to my retreat and all this amazing things happen. And then I'm getting a divorce and then I'm out on my own. and it's just like crazy. So life kind of looks like this a lot of the time. Can you guys relate to that? And what's really amazing, first of all, is that even though this seems really chaotic and these downs are really, really painful, when you start getting out a little further and looking at this line, maybe even from above the room or in the sky, or even from outer space, you realize this line kind of starts to blend and just kind of straighten out. These bumps don't seem so deep when you're far away from it and you're getting that mountaintop perspective. And then what you'll realize is actually this trajectory is still going up. And if you think about the stock market, you know, a lot of times people talk about investing in the stock market, and you look at it close up and you're like, why would anyone ever invest in that? Because it's just totally crazy and chaotic, and then there's these huge crashes throughout history. But if you know, take the mountaintop look at the stock market, it is always going on this upward trajectory if you kind of just even it all out and you look at it. So really, you know, here I am when I'm born, here's my eventual path back to God. And as long as I'm just constantly turning myself around, making sure I'm facing this way and doing my best, like what Camille is teaching, learning from those struggles, what can I learn from this? You know, who can I share this with, this new knowledge that I have? What can I do to make that a positive in my life instead of just wallowing on why me and why did that have to happen to me? And man, that sucked to hurt so much. Turn around, glean everything you can, and then share it with other people. And then you're just going to be even stronger. And then you'll realize, wow, even though this crash was really hard, when I came up from it, look, I'm just slightly ahead of where I was before. And sometimes we come up from it and we're way ahead of where we were before. And that's amazing. And Camille and I are always amazed how this happens. Your worst day right here is often followed by some of your very, 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 very best days. And that's happened to me a lot, even really recently, where you're just like, I don't think I can get through this. And the next day you're like, now I know why I was being beaten down so hard on that day, because something amazing was coming that the adversary didn't want me to experience the next day. And it's pretty amazing how that happens. So when you're down here, just know something awesome is coming. It's true. It always happens. Otherwise, that would not be a very good existence, and God would never send us here to live that way. Okay, let's see. Worst day, best day. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about my other real mountaintop moment experience. So just a few months ago, when I was still living in my old house and the divorce process had just begun, I was just getting totally overwhelmed with the unknown. And it was like, I felt like I was stumbling around in the dark in like the treacherous mountains alone. And I had no idea what my life was going to be like. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know if I would have any money at the end of the process, how I was going to survive financially. I didn't know how my kids were going to react. And I just was really a little bit freaked out. And then God just kind of put this vision in my mind. And it's kind of cool because I don't even know how I got to this point. It just kind of was like opened up in my mind. But he just told me, you know, even though to me, I feel like I'm stumbling around in these treacherous mountains in the dark, to him, it's like perfectly clear blue sky. And it's beautiful. And I'm in the Alps, like the biggest mountains, they're pretty treacherous. But when you're God and you're looking down on me, it's this beautiful, clear blue sunny day. The mountains are majestic. And he created the mountains. He created me. He knows the path perfectly clearly. And he can see it perfectly clearly. And he knows exactly where I should put my foot next and exactly where I should put my hand if I'm climbing up some really steep stuff. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, why would I be afraid of these beautiful mountaintops when the one who created them is guiding me every step of the way? And to him, it's totally clear blue. And another kind of concept that came along with that was the idea that even though right now I feel like I'm on this like huge downward spiral, this big dip, this big crevice, this big chasm that opened up in the road. And that kind of reminds, when you said crater in the road, it made me think of Lois Lane and her car is in that ditch, you know, right before Superman goes around the world backwards to go back in time. I feel like your car is in this big crevice in the freeway, right? And even though you're right there and you feel like, okay, this is a huge deviation from my path. This is a huge detour. This is a huge problem. This is an emergency. It's not. It was always part of your path. God always knew from the very beginning, from even before I was born, God always knew that someday when I was 46 years old, I would be getting a divorce. This is not a surprise to him. He's not scared about it. He's not freaking out about it. He actually was helping me with the whole divorce question process. Is this going to happen? Is this what's right for me and my family? And so this is not a surprise to him. And he actually has been building at all of these things right here, this time, this time, this time, this time, This was all practice. This was all strengthening me to where this time I can go up and I can be even higher. Oh, the blackboard can't even handle how high I'm going to be.
We need a second blackboard.
I need a new blackboard. But all the time, he was preparing me for this so that I can go up like this. So these weren't wasted. These weren't on accident. These weren't a surprise to him either. These were all preparing me to be able to handle this. And now I can teach other women how I got through it. And I can teach them the same exact tools that got me, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And other men.
Hello.
Because we do have a couple men here. So this is amazing how anytime anything happens to us, even if it's something really tragic, like my sister, when I lost my sister to suicide, God didn't want her to do that. He didn't, that was not his ideal way of her life ending. I mean, he would have loved her to live till she was 110, happily forever. But guess what? He always knew that was going to be her life plan. And that was not a surprise to him. And so he had us prepared for that so we could heal from that and so we could help others. And nothing is ever a surprise to him. He's always with us. So think of what an awesome guide he is. Just think, if you're going to be hiking through the Alps, who would you want as your guide? Maybe perhaps the person who created the Alps, the person who created you, the person who can see perfectly clearly, like the clearest blue sky day, exactly where you need to go next and exactly where your feet and your hands and everything should go. And he helped you pack your backpack with all the things that you need along the way. And when I had that vision, that just kind of, it really completely changed my whole outlook on my situation, and it brought me tons of peace. I remember that was like a Saturday night, and then the next Sunday, I just felt so much better, and I never have gone back. I've had a few little dips. Actually, this last Sunday, it was really, it was a hard one. It was my first really hard one since I've been living in my new house. But at the same time, like I say, the next day, a new upward trajectory, and it never, it hasn't gone down this much, but you're always on the brink of your next upswing.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it? I think that's it.
Okay.
I just went off my notes. Let me just check here, make sure.
I think
Oh, and by the way, when you're in the mountaintops, okay, here's another thing. They're beautiful. Like, enjoy the view. When you are in the mountaintops and you are struggling and you're having to lean on the Lord every single day, when you look back at those moments, they're actually really tender in your heart, because that's the time when you and God become really, really close and you become a team. And that's an amazing feeling. Like, I look back when I lost my sister, those were the most spiritual weeks of my life, because I was being carried by so many prayers. I was praying like crazy, and I felt the Lord's hand in my life every single day. And you don't always feel him in your life every single day when you're just taking the kids to school and everything's just normal and you're just living your normal everyday life. We try to, and we enjoy the beauty around us, but it's those times when we really lean on him that we develop that really super close, personal, intimate relationship with our Creator. And how awesome is that? So sometimes you can help yourself just realize these are going to be the times I'm going to look back and be grateful that I was able to develop this relationship with my Creator, with my Lord, with the Savior, and just kind of soak up that feeling of being held and being seen and being guided. Awesome. And then try to practice that in your regular life in the good times. Yeah. Try to hold on just as tight, even though you're not doing it for survival. You're doing it because it feels awesome. So, okay, Camille, let's start talking about what we got next for them.
Okay. All right. I'm coming back in here, guys. Welcome to a couple new people that joined us.
Yay!
Yes.
Linda's
Linda.
here.
Linda's here. So excited you're here, Linda. All
And
right.
Jen Dilly's
so,
here.
yeah.
Our two Jennifers have joined us.
We got our Jens. All right. So our path, as long as we're talking about class and Mountaintop, has led us to new curriculum. So we've already talked about how much we love empowering women, and we just like live for it. You guys, when we get together and we start working on stuff that we're going to teach, whether it's a webinar or curriculum, great things happen.
So fun.
It's like dynamite in a good way.
It's like magic.
Nothing's on fire.
No,
But it's
fingers
good.
blow off, usually.
That's right. We just do a lot of high-fiving and laughing, mostly.
Yes.
So
and happy
anyway,
dances.
Yes, and happy dances. So our new curriculum that we're super excited about is called Flight School. And on a scale of 1 to 10, we're like a 20.
Yes. Yesterday you said 11. And I was like, I don't know. I'm thinking more like a 20 or 100.
I know. I was thinking about that that show, that movie, This is Spinal Tap, when the guy says, this one goes to 11. Anyway, maybe you guys haven't seen that. But anyway, so we're super excited about it because as we get together and think about you, what is needed next? What can we do to explode these women to the next level? Why do I keep wanting to say dynamite and explode? You know what I
launch
mean.
them into
Yes.
launch them into the next stratosphere.
Yes. Think of the rocket. So we're going to rocket you guys to the next place. It's really safe. No fire. Anyway, so with Flight School, what we've done is develop a curriculum. It's 5 weeks long, specifically to help you guys work through where you are and get to the next level. And we've thought about it intentionally, what we need to teach you first, and then second and third. And we've got a structure where you'll have accountability partners. We'll be working with you closely as far as mentoring you where you are in your individual circumstances and getting you to the next place. What else do I need to tell you? So yeah, the idea behind Flight School is when we set the foundation with What Now, helping our women learn, kind of where they come from and what their whys are, why they're doing what they're doing, or, if they want to make changes, what it is. And Flight School is really the how. It's the mechanics, it's the tools that you need to actually implement those things. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about. So we're going to talk a little bit about the classes for you. And then,
Yeah.
So
okay. So our lesson 1, I
Class one.
seriously, I'm getting so excited about each one of these classes. Whenever I look through, I just wish I could take this class.
Yes.
Just kidding. We're teaching it.
We are taking it. Whenever we teach, we take it.
Yes.
Same with What Now. It's totally true.
Exactly. So lesson 1 is about being your own woman and creating your own way. And we are going to talk about syncing up your values with your actions. So we're actually going to list our values, and then we're going to go through our actions each day, and we're going to say, where are these not aligning?
Yeah.
And we're going to become really aerodynamic. So we're really efficient. So we're going to shave off all those bumps and, straighten out all those kinks that are keeping us dragged down. Because there's lots of drag. Get rid of that drag. And I've been super excited about studying actual principles of flight. Yes. And there's something called parasitic drag, which I can't wait to teach you guys about.
Yes.
It's going to be really fun. And we're also going to talk about the awesome power of our words and how we can create our future. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to create our own way, and we're going to use the power of words. Okay. Lesson 2, girl.
Class 2 is all about building up your trust and confidence accounts. So we talk a lot about the foundation of trust, because in order to move forward with your relationships and even with yourself, you need to have a good foundation of trust. You have to trust yourself. If that part is weak or lacking, it's really hard to build a strong foundation when you're not trusting yourself. And along with that trust in yourself, and as you get that strong, it radiates out to your relationships, then the confidence too. And then you really start to make an impact. A lot about relationships in class 2.
Oh yeah. And talk about this one.
Oh yeah. And becoming a pro, becoming a pro at navigating what we call critical conversations. Those are those conversations that in your heart you need to have with a person, but it's probably not going to be pretty and it's going to be difficult. So how to do that? Just think about it. If you can conquer that, oh my gosh, that's huge, because so many people are afraid of having those conversations, and guess what? They don't have them. And then chaos, because they didn't communicate.
Right.
So we're going to really delve into we'll do some role playing and lots of good stuff on how to have those critical conversations that will really jetty you upward.
Okay, perfect. So lesson 3 is about being intentional about our surroundings. So talking about who are we with and what people are at our table. And they're influencing us way more than we probably realize. And who we have influencing us. And their angels and their demons are also influencing us. Whatever is going on in their life is influencing our life. And that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. And one of my favorite new phrases, we're going to talk about being a hoarder of happiness. So I kind of do that. Yes. Well, when you're hoarding happiness, you can't get enough, right? So we're talking about surrounding ourselves with the things and memories that make us happy, that remind us of the good times. So when we're in those struggles, and I kind of did this in my new house, I have like all these things that remind me of all of my happy moments in my life, just kind of around me, and just that positive energy. So I feel like I'm hoarding happiness, and even just the colors that we're with and the art that's on our walls. It can really change your whole perspective when you are just surrounding yourself with all that joy and good people and good energy. Okay.
All right, so my turn. Lesson 4, hone your curiosity, try new things, and see your dreams as legit. All right, so why is it so important? Why do we put that in the phraseology of this? Because becoming a curious observer is so important. Think about what you learn when you're in a curious state of mind. and think what you don't learn when you're not. So when you begin to open up that part of your brain that says the whole world is a wonder and this person has a story and I can't wait to hear it, everything changes. The world is a marvel. So we're really going to dig deep there and work on that skill of honing your curiosity. We're going to challenge you to try some new things and expand your skill set, because when you do that, when you expand your skill set, you're going to bless your life, and you're going to bless all of those people that you're now super interested in with the things that you're learning. So that's going to be super fun. I can't wait. We're going to role play in there.
Yeah. They're like, oh boy.
Like
I love that one. I love the thing about getting out there and trying new things and meeting new people. If I hadn't done my political stuff, I never would have met Camille.
Yes.
And so, yes, good thing I got invited to be politically active. Okay, so let's see. Lesson 5. Keep your upward trajectory and give the extra 10% in all that you do. Now, we love doing that with our classes. This is kind of something that we've learned and that we've implemented ourselves. This is actually something that I learned from Melody Ross, one of my artist friends, and then at Wood Badge, we gave the extra 10% in everything that we did. But when you add that little extra embellishment, your art is going to sell more than the other girls at the other booths. That's what I learned from Mel back in like 1993 or 1994, when she was selling her toll painting at little craft shows, you know.
Toll painting.
Yeah.
I remember
she
that.
had like the extra curl on the wire, or the extra glitter, or the extra ribbon. And so that's what we do in our What Now class. We have gifts, and we have special projects that we do, and activities that we do, and art things that we do with the girls that they've never done before. And so we always try to add the extra 10% in our classes that make them just way different and way our own style, and just more
fun,
and more enriched, more enhanced,
more fun,
and more fun.
Always,
because she always brings the fun.
And you bring the light,
and I light it up. So so there's okay, and then you guys have to try this. I cannot wait to see how this happens in real life. But we're going to do a Megamind brainstorming session. So if you've never done a Megamind brainstorming session, I highly recommend it. It's going to be awesome. So that's one of the things we're going to do on our lesson 5. And we're going to feel that quantum leap that happens when you give that extra 10%. So it's going to be awesome.
All right. So what do you guys think? Does that sound super exciting? So if Flight School is calling to you, I know it is. We want to have you there. If your heart is pounding and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be part of that. Working with like-minded women. I mean, we found out the power of that in What Now. It's amazing to the synergy you feel when you have other like-minded women and you're forward thinking. Like, it's just like lights going off all over the place.
Oh yeah, they end up teaching each other during our class. Yeah. Our girls will be mentoring each other and helping each other.
Yeah, it's way more than just the two of us. It's everybody there. And so we need you there. We want you there. And I know you want to be there. So we're going to offer you guys $75 off our tuition. The value of Flight School is $300. It's actually way more than that, because what we're putting into this, it's valued way more than that. So anyway, if you're interested, $75 off if you enroll, and like now in the next 24 hours. I think you put it on your website, right?
Yeah. So if you go to yourbeautifulsoul.net, it'll take you to the place where you can purchase it, and just look for the one that says webinar pricing. So it's $225.
Yes. So so go ahead and go on there, yourbeautifulsoul.net. And in addition to the $75 off our tuition, we're going to give you a special bonus. You can choose either a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. I'm going to get down deep and help you solve a problem or strategize whatever you're working on. Okay. And I know how to do this. So either that, or if you want to do a bracelet. So we've got bracelets. I think we've got a few more. So Sarah does it. Well, tell them what you do with your bracelets in case they don't know.
I make custom bracelets, and they have affirming messages on them. So this one of Camille says, "Simply happy."
Yeah, I think so. It's backwards for us, but
yeah,
simply happy.
And then this one says hope, and I have lots of other ones. This is a verse of a song, and this one says holiness to the Lord.
Yeah, I wear this like every day.
Yeah, this is I actually same here. These are our like
every days.
Everyday bracelets. Yes, and so they're amazing. I have lots of girls telling me how their bracelet, just wearing it to somewhere where it was a really difficult situation, they just kind of put their hand on it and just thought about the positive message. And
I heard a story like that too. It's amazing. So these are more than just a bracelet. These are affirmative, personalized bracelets with your special saying or your, phrase is, as long as
going
it'll
to help
fit.
you out.
Yeah.
As long as it'll fit. If it doesn't fit, we make it really long.
Yeah,
We'll
that's why we do the wrap runs, or she does the wrap runs. So anyway, so that's what we want to offer you guys. I hope you're considering flight school. Like I said, it's going to be amazing. I hope that you found this webinar helpful. We love you guys. We live to teach you guys stuff that we've learned. And we're excited to keep doing it, keep going on with this. So flight school begins a week from today, March 28th. We have 2 sessions. We have a morning session at 10 a.m. It's 2 hours. And we also have an evening session from 7 to 9. Both of our sessions will be held at Sarah's new place that has all of her cool art stuff and everything there. It's got great energy in that house. So anyway, that's where we'll be having it. Go to the website, sign up, and what else do we tell them? I think that's it.
Let's tell them. Let's see. We appreciate you guys being here today. If you guys have any friends who you think could use this class, if they've taken our What Now class, or if they haven't taken any of our classes, but they're ready for the how on living their dreams and living their purpose, then just tell them about us and just send them to yourbeautifulsoul.net, and we will take good care of them. We promise. It's going to be awesome. And if people, even if they haven't taken the webinar today, but if they want to sign up together, then it's $250 instead of $300 if 2 people sign up together. So grab a friend and sign up. You can be for $225, then she could be for $250.
Right.
So so just share it with your friends. Talk about us. We don't mind being talked about as long as it's nice. You say nice things about us. Yeah, and we won't blow up you with dynamite or anything like that. We're just going to teach you the principles of flight regarding superheroes and capes and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So it's going to be amazing. So we hope to see you guys there. And thank you for joining us today on this little webinar. It's really fun to see you guys on the little screen here. And we really appreciate you taking your 45 minutes. And it's not even 45 minutes. It's only been 39. So we're doing good. We're giving you 5 extra minutes in your day that you didn't know you were going to have.
Yeah. Awesome,
so
guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We are going to send out the replay as soon as we edit this, hopefully by tomorrow. At the latest.
Oh, yeah, we can
so
get
you can look over it again, and you can share it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple people that signed up that did not show up live, so we'll send
it
to them.
To you people.
So thank you guys are going to watch it later. And anyway, thanks again. Love you guys, and we'll see you later.
Oh wait, hold on. Tell them to sign up now for the.
Oh, okay.
I can't see the rest of the chat.
All right.
Oh, I forget your thing. Okay.
Oh yeah. So don't forget to sign up now for the discount, for the $75 discount. Don't wait. Go on the website right now and get your discount, and then also your bonus, your bracelet or your one-on-one. Yeah. So don't forget to do that right now.
Just send us a message when you sign up. You can just send us a message on the Etsy sign up thing of which one you want, whether you want a bracelet or the mentoring session.
Yeah. Awesome.
And we'll be in touch with you about all that.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
All right, guys, have a great day. Go out and do something great.
Bye.
Bye.